Hey everybody. So I haven't done an update on the DeLorean in a few weeks, so I figured I should probably do that. Because today is actually going to be the last day that the car will be here in the Mill Creek area and is getting moved over to Ellensburg. I decided not to drive it. It turns out it's pretty cheap to get it hauled over there on a flatbed, so I thought that was the better solution. But I do have a whole bunch of things done since the last video that I figured I would go over. So the first, as you can see on the back here, is that the fascia is fully installed. Tail lights are there. These are the LEDs. Everything looks great, works great. All the other lights on there do work as well. So that's good. And now I'm going to click the button here so that... Oh, actually, tell you what, let me put my parking lights on. Oh, you can see all the side markers and everything. So let's first show you under the hood here. So since the last time I had taken a video, I hadn't fully figured out this whole situation right here. And actually my gas filler wasn't on there and the gas cap wasn't fully set. So yeah, so this is the tube that you fill the gas and it goes into, and then this here is the evap line, and then this is the line that comes out of the gas tank. So basically any gas fumes come up through this. There's a little they sort of vent themselves into the gas filler neck there. There's a little hose that comes out of there and connects to this thing. I don't really know what this is, some sort of a pre-filter maybe. And then this evap line takes you all the way back into the back where there is a charcoal canister or evap canister, and that basically makes sure that the car doesn't smell like gas. And so that is fantastic and works great because the car doesn't smell like gas anymore. Of course, prior to this remodel, the car leaked a lot of gas, so that's probably why it smelled like that. Let's see. The body bolt over there, I had mentioned, wasn't in all the way. It is now in. Actually, every body bolt is in. Most of them are hidden, so I won't really be able to show that, but... There we go. This is a line for the windshield washer fluid. That is all set up. By the way, you notice it's much cleaner than the last time it was on video. So yeah, it's not only had a really good wash. When I drove it home yesterday, 2 days ago, it was raining. It was pouring down. So that gave it a little bit even more of a wash. Let's see. Body bolts fill the angle drive. Oh yeah, so the speedo wasn't working last time I was running it, and it also doesn't work again. So actually, let me do this real quick. I wonder if we can see. So if you turn the wheels this way, of course I doubt that I'll be able to actually see this, but oh, yeah. So there it was. So that is the angle drive wire. So that's clearly why that's not working. When I was driving home, I heard some clunks, and this thing just isn't quite set there. Oh, sorry, it's super dark. Actually, I think, can I turn on flash? There we go. So, yeah, you can see that just completely fell out there. So that's why that's not working. Just that cable's bad. It was all torn up and stuff before and needed to be replaced, so not super worried about that. But yeah, for a while, the speedo was working great. It was working great enough that, let's see here, I was able to put 45 miles on the car. That's the the mileage since the last fill up there. And that basically is me driving around the block a few times and driving to get the car aligned. So yeah, the car has been aligned, and we did the toe adjustments in the rear. The trailing arm bolts are now all torqued. I have another short video that I haven't put up yet because it needs to be edited for content. But that one is me in a place called Stu's Garage. And Stu's Garage lets you rent a booth that has a lift. And so I went up on the lift, or put the car up on the lift, and then torqued all the bolts underneath. It was so nice. Basically, in 2 hours, I'm able to do what would take me a full day or full weekend here. So this, you see, it is latched, and you can hit the latch and open it. This is something that never worked when I first got the car. And then here, there's another thing. And so this is latched. You can't open this. You might not know this about DeLoreans, but there's a little lever right there. And that just pops it up a little bit. And then you can open this, and if we're lucky, I'll be able to get this to go back. One-handed. Not easy. There we go. Let's turn the flashlight on. So yeah, so the body bolts are now in place here and over here. If you're lucky enough to see it, almost there it is. There's that body bolt there. I've got the new air intake, which sits back here. Actually, that might be one of the noises I hear when the car is running. This little thing flapping around. Everything's been tested back here now, so the car runs quite reliably. And you can see that obviously the latch mechanism works since I'm able to hit that from the car. I don't know what else I've really done back here. Not a ton. Oh, I put some of the cables that go to the starter and stuff. Those all got zip tied so that they are out of the way. Let me check my handy dandy list. You see, if I don't do these with a list, I never remember what I did. Oh, the heater core lines. Oh, so I don't think I showed those up here. The heater core lines, like the little brass fittings that stick out from the heater core into, like, under the car, they were not even ovals. They were like lines. And so I basically tapped in sockets and rounded them and hit them with a hammer and like fiddled with them for like 2 or 3 hours until they were straight and circular. And then once they were, I was able to put on the new hoses and then not tighten them so much that they completely mess up. And I have tested the heat. Everything on the inside of the car, as far as like the heat and defroster and the fans and all that kind of stuff, works fantastic. Nice and hot once it's warmed up. The temperature gauge is now working, which I had to redo a little bit to get that to do what I wanted. Obviously, the car's not running now, so... let's see, the oil gauge, that's working great. The fuel gauge sort of works. It doesn't like to go past half full, but under half full it seems to be working fine. So I think once I get the orientation on the fuel pump correct, I think that'll probably go away and it'll start looking as it should. Yeah. O2 sensor. Oh yeah, O2 sensor. You won't be able to see this. So behind the tire, there's like... can I see you? Oh, you can. That wire right there in the background that you can barely see. That was not hooked up before, and now it is. Yeah, so I think this is pretty much all I've got for the update today. It is nice to finally be able to jump in the car, basically, and not have to fiddle with everything. And for the most part, you know, it starts every time. Of course, whenever I really need it, like when I went to get the alignment, that's the time that it decided not to start. But other than that, it started every time. And there we go. And this is now latched onto there. Yeah, let's do. I haven't run the car yet today. The person is coming to pick up the car in about half an hour or so. So let me get the wheel somewhat straight. Oh yeah, I also, in addition to getting an alignment, I also recentered the steering wheel. So before, if I was driving down the street, it was like this. And so now it's, it might be a little bit to the left still, but it's much, much better. So straight there. We're in park. And so this is all working great. The voltage is, right at the 13 mark, which is okay. Could be better, I'll be honest. I used a voltmeter on the battery when it's running, and it's 14.6. So it's just a lot of voltage drop getting from the battery to that little sensor right there. Like I said, the speedometer was working for 45 miles before the tip of that broke off. I have a new cable on the way. The temperature gauge, it does work, although I'm worried that it's a little bit low because it only gets me to that first little tick mark, and it doesn't go any higher than that. I mean, obviously it's still pretty, it's cold out. We're talking it's like the 40s around here. But the fans do come on. So the fans come on and go off as expected, even though this is a little bit low. Or at least it seems like it's low to me. RPM's there. So it revs totally fine. And I don't know, so it's idling a little bit high, so that's because it's not warmed up quite yet. Even when it's warmed up though, it still hovers just around the like a little bit below the 1,000 RPM mark. And you can see my gas gauge is there. Oh yeah, parking brakes. My parking brake's not on. That does work if I click it. Oh, well. It did work. Oh, there we go. So I just have to hold it in the right spot, then it'll come on. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, here's a fun thing. It's got a DeLorean electrical system. When you see that? Every time the light blinks on, you get a little dip in voltage. That's awesome. Let's turn this up there. There you can see it a lot better. But yeah, everything's working great. Let me turn the fan on here. Of course, you can't feel this, but I can't feel it either at the moment. But yeah, so this is working great. This whole thing here, this knob, sorry, you were not able to see any of that. So this knob here, it like spins freely and clicks in certain random spots, and then as you go back it clicks. So like this is clicking, right? And so this is now in the 4 position. It's as high as it goes. You can maybe hear that coming out. And then like, I don't know, it works really, really strangely. I probably have to pull this out and redo it or whatever. Stereo works. Anyway, if I could find a channel around here, I haven't listened to the radio in at least a decade. But it seems to be working. And again, so here's an interesting thing. The car now has sort of slowly creeped up and is idling about, I don't know, what's that, 1,400 RPM? If I got the brake on here. If I switch it, this is now in reverse, and it drops down to a little bit under 1,000. So there must be like something that when you're in park revs up the engine for some reason. I don't know why. It's interesting. It's one of those things, like, there's so many little quirks with the DeLorean. Like, it's impossible for me to know what should be there and what shouldn't be there and how it's all supposed to work and everything. But yeah, so I'll turn the car off now so I don't have to yell. But yeah, it's great. Everything is working fine. I'm happy to be in a position now where... Hi! So I'm happy to be in a position now where I can jump in the car, drive it, and I'm not super worried about anything in particular. There are still a lot of issues with the car that I need to work out before I can do a long trip. So, in particular, this drive to Ellensburg is about 120 miles, and so that's a couple hours of driving. And the first 40 miles isn't so bad. It's mostly flat, and you kind of start going up a hill. But then the next 40 miles, you're basically going uphill steeply for that whole amount. And it's pretty steep, and you're going through the pass and going through the mountains. There's an elevation change of around 3,000 feet or something like that. And when the car is in second gear and you're hitting the gas going up a hill, it just doesn't seem like it really goes. So it's kind of slow. It's quite slow, actually. Once you're going, though, or if you're on flat and level ground, it drives fine. Especially now, all the suspension components and stuff are great, and the steering is like responsive and feels really, really solid and good. So I'm really happy with that. But yeah, so get that oil. The transmission fluid is leaking quite a bit, so that's the other issue. And when I say quite a bit, I mean like, well, let's go. I wonder if I can even see it. Flashlight. So yeah, you're probably not even going to see it drip. It's not like a crazy amount, but you can see that I've got oh, and I think that might be regular oil right there. Anyway, there's little drips and things that I would also like to take care of. Oh yeah, I don't want the battery to drain. Let's see. Wait, did I just do that twice? Oh, there we go. Okay, now it's all off. It also has a drain on the battery, as far as I can tell. Yeah, so that's it. Car will be gone here shortly, and then it'll be in its new home. Wait, that's too zoomed in. That's far too zoomed in. Okay, there we go. So the car will be in its new home shortly, tomorrow morning. So I'll be there to pick it up, and it's going to go in the garage and probably not get touched too much for the next few months. It does get cold in Ellensburg, and it snows and everything else, so that's probably what's going to happen. So thanks for watching. I'll do another update video once the car is in its new home. Till then, thanks a lot for watching, and leave a comment if you want. Thanks.